small slot. Looks like something flat and rectangular would fit. A strange wooden card lined with metal. It's got some holes on one side. It fits.
Wow, that's something.
This is getting stranger by the minute.
You're telling me. Don't know where this thing came from, but it seems important. Better take this card back. Don't want to be stuck down there. All right, folks. I think this is it. Wherever this takes us, I have a feeling Dr. Clark will be there.
But will we be able to come back up once we find him?
I sure hope so.
Maybe one of us should stay up here, just in case.
There's no telling what we'll find down there. We should all stick together.
Okay, let's go then.
What in the ether is this place?
It seems that was a one-way ride.
Damn, I knew one of us should have stayed up there.
So now we're looking for two things, Clark and the exit.
What? We weren't expecting, who are you?
I could easily ask you the same thing.
I'm one of Dr. Clark's lab assistants.
I see. Could you take us to him?
Hang on. You still haven't said why you're here.
We've come to inspect the facility. Surely you were told to expect us.
No. Odd. Dr. Clark didn't mention it. But it was General Laporte who sent you?
Of course.
Right. Come with me.
Goodness, this place is really something.
I'm glad you think so.
What's that big glowing thing down there?
That's our etheric generator. Powers most everything down here. You get used to the noise. Follow me, please. I'll just be a moment.
Do you think he believes us?
I think we're okay so far. Just follow my lead.
I suppose the deception was necessary. I hope we don't come to regret it.
I suppose General Laporte's curiosity was too much for him to bear. I told him he could come for a demonstration next week. Instead, he sends 3 proxies. I will never understand that man's rationale. But you're here now, so you may as well see what we've got. I'm Dr. Bennett Clark, by the way. And you are?
I'm Miss Leger. This is Miss Redbird and Mr. Luo. We've been engaged to assist on this project and have come to get a briefing.
I thought you said you were here to inspect the facility.
Sure. Inspect it so we know what we'll be working on.
No hires. I wish the General would communicate these things. But I suppose this is good. No sense sugarcoating what this work experience will have in store for you. All right, let's go have a look at Project Rosewater. I'm afraid the testing chamber only accommodates 4. One of you will have to stay out here with Joshua, but you may observe the test through the window. As I said, we weren't expecting anyone until next week. The prototype still needs refinement. Nevertheless, we have made a breakthrough.
Prototype of what, exactly?
You mean the General didn't tell you? Why am I not surprised? There on the tripod, the etheric pistol, the whole purpose and object of Project Rosewater. Juliet, is the prototype ready for demonstration?
I believe so, Doctor, but
Who are we demonstrating it for?
Miss Leger and her companions, the team sent by General Laporte. Now, please, do us the honors.
Yes, Doctor.
Oh my.
Whoa.
We have managed to confine the chaotic etheric discharge to a very narrow, focused beam over a distance of up to 6 meters, without significant dissipation or redirection of energy, reaching nearly 68.2% efficiency. This results in complete vaporization of most organic targets, with only minimal atmospheric disturbances in the immediate vicinity. You might be feeling warmth, or a slight tingling sensation on your skin, and a change of pressure in your ears, perfectly harmless. Oh, and if you are experiencing any alteration to your color vision, I assure you that is also completely temporary.
I taste purple. Does anyone else taste purple?
There are sometimes minor synesthetic side effects. That too will pass, of course. There is plenty of room for improvement in range, energy efficiency, fine-tuning of the beam's intensity and area of effect, user-friendliness and safety. But as proof of concept, this irrefutably demonstrates that the principle is sound and that it can be scaled up. The rest is iteration.
Well, thank you for that thorough explanation.
Now I'm afraid you must excuse me. I have some time-sensitive tasks I must attend to. If only I'd been forewarned of your arrival, I might have made arrangements. In any event, if you have questions, I or my assistants can answer them. Just be mindful not to touch anything.
Lab assistant's desk. She's written some notes, but I have no idea what they mean. Looks like some demented puzzle box. So this is Project Rosewater. Flashing lights and other displays. I can't tell if it means something or is just meant to look pretty. It appears to be a charging device. There's a small round socket at the top. Who knows what they keep in there? Not while Clark's around. I don't think I'm allowed in there. At least, not while there's someone watching.
That was really something.
So Laporte's got Clark developing etheric weapons for the military. This throws a wrench in Shaw's plans.
How horrible. Instead of something good to benefit humanity, ethericity is being harnessed to produce suffering and death. Perhaps Dr. Clark will be open to the idea of leaving this project for something less distasteful.
Perhaps. But I can't just ask him with his assistant right there. Maybe I can get her to leave the testing chamber so I can have a moment alone with Clark. Hey, Danny?
Yes, Harley.
How do you suppose they managed to build a place like this under an island?
Don't know, but whoever did it must be real serious about Dr. Clark's research.
Hey, Nadine. Never would have guessed a place like this existed if we hadn't seen it with our own eyes.
It certainly explains all the stories about strange lights and ghosts. Perhaps the island's reputation was the reason they chose it to house this facility.
Hey, can we talk?
Sure. What's on your mind?
Have you been down here long?
Oh, about 7 months, I think. Without any sunlight, you really lose all sense of time. Sometimes it feels like decades.
No sunlight? You mean you never go outside?
No, of course not. Is this some kind of test? The terms were made very clear when we signed on to this project. We don't break protocol. I do really miss the sun, though. Sometimes I feel like a mushroom down here.
How did you become interested in etheric research?
I was already a researcher when I met Dr. Clark, but my field was chemistry. I had dabbled some with etheric experiments after hearing about Clark's research. When I saw him at the Lamplight City Expo, I knew I wanted to work with him, despite what happened. After the dust settled, I approached him about taking me on as an assistant. I got the feeling he was just surprised to still have any support.
Never would have dreamed there was a whole secret facility hidden under this rock in the middle of the bay. Who built it anyway?
The military, I guess. Had to be someone with very deep pockets. Everything was already in place before they moved us in.
Don't you ever get bored here?
Sure, all the time. We've got books, but I've read them all. This is my 3rd time through this one. At least this phase of the project's near completion. Maybe we'll get some time up top before the next one.
What are your thoughts on Project Rosewater?
Honestly, I try not to think about it too much. We're doing important scientific research. I can't deny that. Just because our focus is on weapons doesn't mean our results can't be used for other applications.
How do you like working with Dr. Clark?
It has its moments, but I'd be lying if I said it wasn't stressful. He gets wound up sometimes, which I understand. But other times he picks strange things to get cross about.
Like what?
Well, his biggest bugbear is food in the testing chamber. I made the mistake of taking my lunch in there once, and he just about had a conniption. Cleanliness is one thing, but this is a whole other level.
So Clark dislikes food in the testing chamber, does he?
Dislikes? More like detests.
Know anything about General Laporte?
I saw him once, right at the start of the project. Didn't talk to him. He seemed kind of intense. He's the one running the show, as far as I can tell. Beyond that, the man's a total mystery.
Okay, see you around.
Bye.
Bars of Aurum. Lots of them. This must be the door to Dr. Clark's quarters. There's no handle. An etheric generator. It's big and loud. Looks like a more complex version of the console back in Clark's desert lab. Controls, gauges, and dials. Who knows what they're for? These tomatoes are thriving. Must be all the exposure to ethericity. These tomatoes are thriving. Must be all the exposure to ethericity. Hey, can we talk?
Sure. What's on your mind?
So Clark dislikes food in the testing chamber, does he?
Dislikes? More like detests.
Okay, see you around.
Bye.
Some kind of little oven for heating food, I think. This thing is in dire need of repairs. A couple of wires from that food heating device. A couple of wires from that food heating device. Set of encyclopedias. The box is full of odds and ends, some sewing and personal grooming supplies. The only indication of time down here. You could almost think you were in some nice hotel and forget you were in a secret, illegal underground laboratory beneath a ruined fort on a cursed, haunted island. Just some clothes and a couple of storage boxes. The lab assistants share a room? Not sure if that's progressive or scandalous. The box... There's a card slot next to the door. Seems to be locked. Nothing to say, really. I can see the testing area. Dr. Clark?
Yes, what is it?
Just how long have you been down in this facility?
8 months. We've made extraordinary progress, as you can see. I admit, I had some misgivings when I first learned what would be required of us, but it turns out the isolation has done wonders for our productivity.
So who built this whole underground complex anyway? I'm guessing it wasn't always a secret ethericity lab.
I'm not entirely sure. Apart from the additional equipment I specified, everything was already prepared for us when I arrived in El Presidio. General Laporte isn't exactly forthcoming with information he considers irrelevant.
Do you know much about General Laporte?
Not a great deal, no. I only met him when he summoned me to El Presidio. We speak occasionally, but only about professional matters. Just as well, I suppose. His interests don't align particularly well with mine.
So your relationship is purely professional?
It's an acquaintanceship at best.
How did this project get the name Rosewater?
My idea. Sentimental, really. I suppose I had gotten attached to my dry and dusty little desert lab. After all, Rosewater was my refuge when I lost everything else. I just made an offhand comment to that effect one day while discussing arrangements with the general. And he said, "Well, in that case, why don't you bring Rosewater with you?" When I found out he made that the official title of the project, it made me smile, I'll admit.
Why did you agree to work on this project?
Why? I just experienced the worst disaster of my life. My work was first ridiculed and then outlawed, and I was exiled to a barren wasteland. The only prospect I could see was to leave the country and start everything over. But then I received General Laporte's offer. I could continue my work in safety and solitude. Everything I needed would be provided. No investors, no reporters, no loonies, no distractions. I'm certain anyone in my position would have jumped at the opportunity.
How much longer until Project Rosewater is finished?
We're nearing the end of this phase. If all goes well, we should have a stable, fully functioning prototype by the end of the year.
Who came up with Project Rosewater?
My understanding is that this work is for the benefit of the Vespuccian army. General Laporte is in charge of the project. Everything goes through him. Other than the facility guards, I've had contact with no one else.
What exactly is the goal of this project?
Well, once the etheric pistol is complete, we'll begin experimenting with larger caliber weapons.
Etheric rifles?
Yes, and whatever else the General sees fit to pursue.
Where does it stop?
You'd have to ask him that question.
Just how did you come to discover the existence of ethericity?
Now that's a story. When I was a boy, I read about the ancient Greeks and their studies of the heavens. Certain texts made obscure references to observations of energy subsisting in the atmosphere, something entirely different from electricity. The idea seized my imagination and sparked my passion for the pursuit of ethericity. I developed an instrument that I called the aetherometer in order to probe the atmospheric potential. Imagine my delight when I discovered that ethericity was in fact real. Unfortunately, the aetherometer has been appropriated by so-called spiritualists who believe they can use it to talk with the dead.
I'd like to know your perspective on the Lamplight City Expo incident.
That was a dark day. Everything I worked for came crashing down in a matter of seconds. Being maligned and ostracized was bad enough, but I can still hear the screams of those 15 poor souls. If anything good can be said to have come from that horrible event, it taught me that nothing in this life is guaranteed.
What inspired you to become a scientist?
Trite as it may sound, I wanted to make the world better. I had a fortunate birth. My parents were able to pay for my studies in Paris, which is where I earned my doctorate in physics. But even as a boy, I still saw plenty of terrible things going on around me. Others seemed not to see, but I did. Upon my return to Vespuccia, I began teaching and conducting independent research. My only explicit goal was to make some sort of discovery or development that would serve the advancement of mankind. I would like to believe I've achieved that.
I'll let you get back to it.
Thank you.
Hey, Nadine. Think you can occupy Dr. Clark's attention for a few moments?
I can certainly try. Oh, Doctor, could I have a word?
Yes, what is it?
Not while Clark's around. Pardon me.
Sorry, can't talk right now. If you've got any questions, ask Dr. Clark.
I haven't got any questions for the good doctor right now. Hey, can we talk?
Sure, what's on your mind?
So Clark dislikes food in the testing chamber, does he?
Dislikes? More like detests.
Okay, see you around.
Bye.
These tomatoes are thriving. Must be all the exposure to ethericity. Hey, Nadine. Think you can occupy Dr. Clark's attention for a few moments?
I can certainly try. Oh, Doctor, could I have a word?
Yes, what is it?
There. Now to watch the fireworks.
Miss Montgomery, what is the meaning of this? How many times have I said, no food in the testing chamber?
But
I don't want excuses. Clear it out. Put away the power sail. We're done with testing today.
Yes, Dr. Clark.
But I'm very particular about rules.
Hey, nothing wrong with that. The lab assistant's desk. She's written some notes, but I have no idea what they mean. Talk?
I suppose so.
Just how long have you been working down here?
Good question. It's difficult keeping track of time. We're in September, right?
November, actually.
Oh, then it's been longer than I thought. We came down here in March.
What sparked your interest in etheric research?
I followed Dr. Clark's career from the early days. He was one of the first to begin advancing etheric theory with practical experiments. Not only that, he was getting results. After I graduated from university, I sent him my thesis on the effects of ethericity on plants and animals. I guess that made me one of the few practical researchers out there, too. He wrote back immediately with an offer of employment.
How do you keep from getting bored?
The work is pretty all-consuming, and we don't have much of a social scene down here. Dr. Clark is kind enough to lend us his books to pass the quiet hours.
Do you know who built this place?
I suppose this is an old army base, but Clark's had it fitted with some really state-of-the-art equipment. We're lucky to be so well-resourced.
I was blown away by that demonstration. Figuratively speaking, of course.
Huh. We've been working on it non-stop, but there are a lot of kinks to work out before it'll be field ready. For instance, we still can't get more than one shot out of each power cell. I suppose in an actual battlefield situation, you'd need to carry around a lot of cells and reload for every shot, like cannonballs. But the power cells are still very difficult to construct, so we only have a few prototypes. We have to recharge them constantly.
How long does it normally take to charge one of the power cells?
Around 6 hours.
Wow.
Wow is right. Joshua hooked one up to the etheric generator and discovered that it charged instantly. But Dr. Clark wasn't happy about it.
Why not?
He said it made the power cell unstable. But we didn't have to wait all day for the next trial, and Joshua was even able to get 2 shots out of that one. The overcharge effect is certainly something we should investigate later.
What was that about a faster way to charge the power cells?
Joshua figured out that hooking the power cell to the etheric generator charged it instantly, but Dr. Clark discouraged it because it makes the power cell unstable.
Between you and me, doesn't it concern you that ethericity is being weaponized?
Not at all. It's a powerful energy source, and this is one of many practical applications.
Sure, but isn't it better to use it for less destructive purposes?
We live in a dangerous world, and these are uncertain times. Other nations probably have their own etheric weaponry development programs underway. If we didn't pursue this research, we'd be falling behind. A new weapon is most useful as a deterrent. Having it in your back pocket means everyone else thinks twice before firing on you. I know Dr. Clark's had some moral reservations about the military applications of ethericity, but he's a professional through and through.
So, what's working with Dr. Clark like?
He's a brilliant man. I learn something new from him every day.
He seems short-tempered.
Well, yes, but that's just the genius mind, isn't it? No room left over for navigating social niceties.
Can you tell me anything about General Laporte?
Not really. I know he's the one overseeing this project, but I've never had the opportunity to speak with him.
I appreciate the chat.
It's nice to have someone new to talk to.